Race is not. The word race is not African. We don't have races in Africa. Okay, we don't do any of that nonsense. Pre-colonial Africa. So ancient world, the Temple of Thebes, where you see those pictures, that's an expression of cultures and nations. And what people are doing, it's anachronism. You're reading race back into it. Those are the two ports of call that black people use. Land of the Blacks and the Temple of Thebes. None of them prove anything. Okay? We are Africans. We didn't walk around calling ourselves black. Okay? That's nonsense. It doesn't exist. Okay? It just doesn't exist. There's no support for it. Black is a racialized term. Now, if you found someone black-skinned, it wouldn't change that. But I've never seen someone black-skinned. I don't know if you have, but I haven't seen one.
You see them, but I'll see them.
Right, this colour, that colour. You sure? You might want to think about what you say. Thank you. No, I don't think you'll see them. Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
On the issue of blackness and the tent of black, like you said, it's the history. The Arabs used it first, then the Europeans kind of owned it, and then they use that to define us. You know, black is everything bad, the black book, the black sheep. Then at some point in American history, the Africans in America had to own that, and the likes of Kwame Ture did a wonderful job, you know, talking about black power, black is beautiful. So we had to own it at that period of history, you know, to be defined. But then Kwame Ture again said we need to move from black power to Pan-Africanism. So we need to move from being black to being African. And I think you referenced John Henry Clegg that said, what does it mean to be black? It's an identity, it's not tied to land, it's not tied to anything. Okay. So yeah, we need to be African and move from being black. Yeah, it is progress from being a nigger to Negro to being black, then move to being African.
Perfect. I totally agree with that. Now, tomorrow when we go to work and someone says, who your black guy coming in, I accept that I'm racialised as black. I'm not going to deny it. You see, I accept it, and we can use it in positive ways, like you said. You know what I mean? You know, black power. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And we can use it in positive ways. But come on, it doesn't mean we have to misunderstand that it's a racialised term. One of the positive ways of using it are black studies, where we use it almost like the word Negro from Marcus Garvey to include all of the diaspora as well as people on the continent. Okay, so really, as the brother said there, that's leading to a Pan-Africanist perspective. Okay, and if we don't have black consciousness, right, we are not going to survive. So we'll take that term and we'll use it appropriately. Now, in terms of that black-white issue, I did research for, the black issue, skin colour and all that. I did research for this chapter. I did lots of research and lots of interviews, and I found that black people didn't really understand race. This is really important. What is race? And it is contentious in the black community, I have to tell you. There are elders in the black community, I won't give names, who are convinced that Africans were walking around calling themselves racist. No. We did not call ourselves race. Find me an African word, pre-Africa, pre-colonialism, race. Find it. And notice how they skip the colonial period and go to the ancient pictures. Show me something in pre-colonial Africa that is black. Go ahead. That they defined as black. They don't. This is a European and Arab thing. Okay? And this chapter here, what is race? Black people need to read this very carefully. This book is sourced, it's Black Studies, it's totally sourced, so you can do additional studies yourself. Okay? It's important. Any questions?
So therefore it goes back to what I said, that we called ourselves various countries.
Yes, we linked it to where we were. We linked it to where we were.
And it was
pre-colonial Africa, I'm not an expert on pre-colonial Africa, But I do know that we weren't walking around calling each other racist. It's laughable. And yet there is an elder, not this elder, there is an elder in our community. He actually said in a video, black people define themselves by colour. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay? Africans define themselves by colour. You must be joking. We define ourselves by our culture, by our literature, by our ways of being. We don't define... Africans defining themselves by colour in the ancient world. Or the pre-colonial world. Now, what's happening there is race has gone into your psyche and you're being anachronous and you're pouring it back into Africa. Race, black is race, but we've got to use it while we're here in positive ways. Okay, we're Africans. We're Africans. That's what it is. African descent or whatever. Okay.
But the positiveness actually came in the 60s when Black Power. Black is beautiful.
Yeah, good.
So we saw it as
of course.
positive.
What we really meant was what Amos Wilkerson said when he said, "Black power, black is beautiful. Africanness is beautiful." That's what we're really saying. Okay, but some Africans, some black people in America, they're anti-black African.
Yeah.
You've got loads of African Americans who are anti-African.
Yeah.
Not much less those who are anti-black. You've got black people who are anti-African.
Yeah.
They mock your voice, they mock everything about you. They're anti-African. Okay? That's going on. And then you have black people who are anti-black because they want to be white or Asian. But that's going on. It's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of know thyself. You see? Well, the first thing is to understand is the reason a lot of these black people hate the concept of Africa because they actually think we're black people. Nonsense. Nonsense. We are African people who have a culture, who have literature, who have ways of being. But because of colonialism and forced migration, we're here. We're here. I mean, you're here, but your country is still being controlled by the West. Totally. Wealth extraction is the same as it's been 500 years ago. The capitalist core is still sucking the global south, specifically the African continent. The West is built on racism. We have to accept that. And therefore the developments of white supremacy are embedded into the political economy itself. So for the West to survive, it needs to extract wealth from one of the most wealthiest continents on the planet, which is called...
And do you think what is happening at the moment in countries like the Sahel and Burkina Faso and Mali, they kind of kicking out France, they kind of going against the imperial domination in their countries. What would you say on that?
Well, there is a resurgence of Pan-Africanism and black people realising that all the structural programs that the West have put in place, you know, as the old Native Americans used to say, white man speak with forked tongue. So they're realising that the IMF programs, the World Bank and all these institutions of white supremacy are not serving their interests. So there's definitely a resurgence on the African continent with various black leaders, or African leaders who want to throw off the shackles, you see. But the West has its method. It brings in economic hitmen, it tries to destabilise the country. They use various methods, but I think there is definitely a resurge of African power. They want to get rid of the various structural programs that are running much of Africa, and that. But what we need is the Pan-Africanism, the kind of connection between the various countries in Africa. You see, that's what we need.
And then there is nationalities are given to Caribbeans and African Americans in countries like Ghana, Sierra Leone, and the president now of Burkina Faso, he's looking for African Americans and Caribbeans.
That's amazing. That's really good.
To give nationality in June.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, if you have any Sahel link Burkina Faso or Mali or Niger.
I should have the right